Hello, everybody. I'm Abby, and it is June, which is Scoliosis Awareness Month. Didn't know if you knew that, but now you do. So, in honor of Scoliosis Awareness Month, I thought that I would do a little series on strengthening the core and the spine without having to bend the spine very much. So if you have a spinal fusion, you may find it difficult to do things like crunches or yoga bicycles or any of the sort of more standard core strengthening activities that we were taught. So this video is for you. Also, if you don't have a fused spine, but you just kind of have a tender spine or sensitive spine that doesn't respond well to a lot of movement, this video is also for you. So the first thing I want to show you is we're going to be laying down on our back and doing a little bit of isometric strength. So this does not require a whole lot of movement of the spine, although it will ask for a little bit at the beginning. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to invite you onto your back, knees bent, feet on the ground. And then all I'm going to do first is tilt my pelvis back. So in other words, kind of scooping my tailbone up and pressing my low back into the ground. So this is a little bit of spinal movement. If your spine is totally fused, then this may not work, but you can still access the engagement of the muscles even if your spine is not moving. So pressing your low back towards the ground, and again, it may or may not make it to the ground. That's okay. Tailbone is pointing more upward. Try not to squeeze your glutes. Try to keep your butt relaxed. But as you do this, I want you to feel some strength in the front side of your belly. I already feel my shoulders kind of scrunching forward. If you feel that, see if you can relax the shoulders, but keep the engagement of the belly. So that's all I'm doing at first, is just feeling that engagement in the front side of my core. And then I'm going to release that. And so as I release it, you might be able to see my spine kind of returns to its natural curve. So then I'm going to try this again, tilting my pelvis back or scooping my tailbone up as I press my low back into the ground. Then I'm going to add a layer. So as I continue to press my low back down and draw my belly towards my low spine, I'm going to keep my left foot grounded, but pick up my right foot and then just press my right hand into my thigh. And at the same time, I'm pressing my hand into my thigh, I'm pressing my thigh into my hand. Ooh, that's fun. So I'm creating some resistance here, hand pressing to thigh, thigh pressing to hand. And as I do that, I feel even more engagement in my belly. I'm still trying to press my low back into the ground. Whether or not it's actually on the ground, it doesn't matter. It's just that action of pressing the ground with my low back. And then I'm going to release that side, let my belly relax. Take a couple breaths. And then same thing, second side. So first, pressing my low back down, scooping the tailbone up, and then lifting my left foot. My right foot stays grounded this time. Left hand is now pushing against the thigh as the thigh is pressing into the hand. And as I do this, I do also feel some engagement in my hip flexors, the front of my hip, and also around the shoulder and the arm. That's totally fine if you feel that too. But I want you to also feel, or maybe even primarily feel, the engagement of your belly. Pushing hand and knee into each other, pushing low back towards the ground. Whew, okay, and then release that. So you can do that a couple times, hands to knee, pressing low back into the ground, cultivating the strength of the front side of the core and the body. So then we're going to try a variation of that. And so far we've just done same side of the body. Now we're going to go across the body, because this is another thing that can be really difficult to build strength with, especially if you have fused spine or sensitive spine, is rotational strength. Because if you can't rotate, then how are you going to build rotational strength? Well, here's how. So I'm going to take my hand and opposite knee to meet each other. I'm going to press the hand and the knee into each other just like I did with the same side. And I'm going to press the low back into the ground just like I did the first variation. I'm holding that for a few seconds. I'm continuing to breathe. but still feeling a lot of strength in the belly and almost like a diagonal line of strength, kind of from my left ribs to right hip. And then I'm going to switch sides. Right hand to left knee. Same thing, pushing knee into hand. Still, I'll feel some strength in my shoulder and my hip flexor. That's fine. But I want to really focus on feeling the strength in my obliques, the core muscles that would rotate me if I were going to take a twist. So again, that you may feel that as kind of a line of strength from your right ribs to the left hip, crossing the body. A sash of strength. All right, and then release that. So then you can try that a couple times. Hand to knee, pressing, hand to knee, pressing. And then one thing I'll also say is if your dimensions are such that reaching the hand to the knee is just not feasible, maybe your torso is longer than your arms or something, you could use a block too to kind of extend your arm. So it might just be at its smallest, might be at a bigger height. So anything to connect the knee and the hand. So again, if your proportions are such that reaching hand to knee just doesn't work, you can add something between the hand and the knee. Or you could even take elbow to knee and connect with a block. Just for something different, mixing things up. So any variation of that, you can do that with the same side too. So it's all the same concept. We're just pulling knee and elbow towards each other and engaging the strength of the front and sides of the core muscles. So there's not a lot of spinal movement that has to happen. Very little movement at the beginning when you're kind of tilting the pelvis, pressing the low back down. But even if you can't do that much movement, you can still find the engagement. So even if I were to keep a little curve in my low spine, I could still do this action. I'm still engaging the belly, even if I'm not actually moving my spine towards the ground. So there you have it. A couple ways to strengthen the core, front and sides, without having to move your spine much or at all. Thanks for joining.